few hours ago I had the idea to make a Connect 4 game, so I just want to show you what I have so far. And I'm not sure how far I'm going to take this, but it's pretty fun so far, so just see how it goes with that. So what I have right here is the Connect 4 board. It has 7 columns and it has 6 rows. And we have a clear board button and an undo last move button. And let's go over to the code. So let's look at the markup first. We're using HTML5. We're linking in our style sheet. We're linking in jQuery and also our own JavaScript file. And inside the markup here we have main wrapper, and we have a wrapper just for the board. And inside that we have some divs, which is each row. And inside the row we have all the different chip holders right here. Basically these are all the squares in it. And inside that we have a canvas tag. And the canvas tag is really important because that's what's going to let us draw the circles in it, which is going to be the chips. And finally at the bottom of this we have the 2 buttons. So let's go over to the styles. And in the styles, not very much interesting here. I used a button generator to get this. So there's lots of those on the net. If you want to get, style buttons, just find a button generator or just get some code off there. Yeah, nothing too special right there. And let's go over to the JavaScript. So we're using jQuery here, and everything is wrapped inside this document.ready function. So basically all that means is we're waiting for the DOM to be totally ready and downloaded before we go and do anything. And actually, before I get into this, I think I should show you just how the game works. So in Connect 4 you drop the chip from the top and it drops to the bottom. So if you click at the bottom here, you can put the chips there, but if you click up here, that doesn't work. Okay, and to put a black chip down, we double click. Pretty sure I got these colors wrong for Connect 4. So double click to put a black one, and I set up in the jQuery so if there's a tile below it, you can place one on top. Double click, okay. So there needs to be a chip below it, or it has to be the bottom row in order to put something down. And we can undo the last move right there. And yep, that's undoing it. And we can also clear the board like that. So let's go and see how this was done. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm creating a canvas variable, and we're just using regular JS here, document.getElements by tag name canvas. And what this is going to do is this going to return an array of all the canvas elements to right here, okay? And then we're going to be able to access each of those elements by, for example, square brackets and then a 0. So this will access the first canvas element on the page, which would be, if I went to the top here, it would be the first one, okay? And after I do that, I'm just setting up some colors right here. And let's skip over this function for right now. We're going to come back to that. And let's see what happens when somebody clicks on one of the canvases. So we're binding on the click method to the canvas, and when they do that, we're running this function. And the first thing we're doing is we're getting the ID of the canvas that was clicked on, and we're storing that in canvas clicked. And after that, we're creating this variable canvas number, and that's set to canvas clicked -1. So remember the IDs in the canvas started with 1. You'll see here they started with 1, but arrays in JavaScript start at 0. So I had to do canvas clicked -1, and that's the canvas number. Okay, so the first one will be 0. Okay. The next thing I'm doing is I'm creating this variable canvas above ID, and that's set to the current canvas we clicked on, the ID number -7. And the reason for this is I need to find the one that's right above it. So if we go here, if we put a button here, when we're clicking on this one, I want to get a hold of this one right here, the one above it, because I'm going to add a class to that, which is called canPlace. And when that class is in place, then they'll be able to to put a chip there. So we get that number -7, and the next part was a little bit tricky and it took me a while to do it. But basically, when someone clicks on a canvas, what I want to do is I want to get a hold of the canvas that's directly above it. Okay, and the problem is in jQuery this next method doesn't work because I'll tell you why. Because if we go over to the markup right here, inside this canvas we cannot use the select the next sibling because there's no other siblings inside this div. So if this canvas had another canvas right after it, we could use the next method, but because there's no other siblings inside this div, what we need to do is we need to go up to the parent and then up to next parent. So for example, if we're down here at this canvas, we need to go up to this parent and then up to the next parent, and then we need to go to the previous div, okay, which is right here, and from there we can use the find method to find it by ID. So if we go back to the JavaScript, you'll see that happening right here. So this is the canvas that we're on right now, and then we go to the div above, and then the div above that, and then the previous div, okay, which is going to be the row above it, and from there we use this find method and we put a hashtag there in quotes, and then I concatenate on the canvas above ID. So that was the -7 part, and that is going to give me the one right above it. That's not supposed to be there. The next thing I'm doing is we're doing an if statement to see if the person is allowed to put the chip down or not. So the first thing it says, if the canvas click is greater than 35, okay, so if we go back to the code here and we go to the last one, we see here's the bottom row, and the bottom row starts with 36, okay, so they're always going to be able to put one on the bottom row. So if that's greater than 35, or the element has the class of canPlace, okay, in the beginning there won't be any that have this class, but we're going to put that in later. So if it has the class of canPlace, then we're going to let them play that move, and we're going to draw the circle in it. So if this checks out, then first of all we're doing this .adder, and we're adding on the class onto the current element, which is hasChip. Okay, so if we go into Chrome and let's refresh this, and let's open up Chrome's inspector, and let's open this up here. I'm not sure if you can see it because it's probably pretty small, but I'm going to the F div here, and I'm opening up, you can see it's blue, I'm opening up this one, and you're going to see the class get added in here. So once I click on here, right now there's no class attached to it, but once I click on here, okay, now it added the class hasChip, okay, and if I go up one more to the E div and I go to the first one, you'll see that that also has a class of canPlace. So now people are allowed to place on the one above it. So when I clicked on this, we added an attribute, we added a class to this, and we also added a class to this. So the first one is add on to that hasChip, and then canvas above, this variable right here, which finds the canvas above it. Canvas above, we set the attribute of class canPlace, and then after that we do our create circle function. So what we can do now is we can go up to our create circle function here, and you can see this is getting passed one value, which is red, and that color was already, that variable is already set at the top. So let's go to our create circle function, and you can see actually here I set it up to receive 3 parameters, because in another place in the code we're going to call this function and I'm going to pass it more parameters, okay? But in JavaScript, if you call a function and you only pass it one parameter, the other ones are going to be ignored. So this is still going to work fine if it's only passed the color, if it's only past the first parameter here, okay? And let's see what happens in this. So what I'm doing after that is I'm setting up default values for radius and also for index here. So let's take a look at this. If radius is set, if the type of radius is not set to undefined, which means if I created, if I passed in a value for radius, then this is going to evaluate to true. Okay, it's not undefined. I defined it and I passed it in. So if this is true, we're going to return radius, okay, to radius. We're going to return this to radius, okay? But if it wasn't passed in, and this is undefined, then we're going to use this default value of 48, okay? And I did a similar thing with index here. If it's defined and it was passed in, then we use the index that was passed in. If not, it's using a default of canvas number, and that canvas number was set right here when somebody clicked on it. In this block right here, we have some core JavaScript that works with HTML5 in order to draw the circle. So there's not too much to talk about here, but this third parameter here is the radius. So this is going to affect how big your circle is, basically. And these are, the first two are the position. So you can play around with this and, you know, make your circle however you want it. That code right there. If we go down to our double click function here, so we can see this has been it's been binded onto this canvas. So you can see the dot right here. Click. This is the first event, and then we're just chaining another method onto here. So the next one we just do dot and we put our next method. So with double click it's almost the same, except this time we're looking for the has chip class as well. And the reason we have to look for this is before a double click happens, you know, a single click is happening. So what happens is when you click, even in a double click, when you click the mouse once, this first one is going to happen, and it's going to put on the class of has chip. Okay, so we need to look for that also, because this is going to be true. And then once that happens, you know, the double click event has happened. So, and you know, jQuery is aware that it's happened. And then what we're going to do is these things actually have happened already, but we're going to do this create circle, run this create circle function again, but this time we're passing it a value of black. If we go down a bit further, we have the we're getting a hold of the undo button right here, and when somebody clicks on that, first what we're doing is we're creating a variable radius, which is set to 49. And this was an unusual thing I found. So even though the buttons that are currently there, the red and the black ones, have a radius of 48, if you put a white one of 48 on top of it, I was still able to see an outline of the red around it, or a black outline around it. So I had to make this 1 pixel bigger in order to cover up the red or the black chip. So that's why we have that set to 49. And then we run the create circle function, but this time we're passing the color and we're passing in the radius. Okay, so that's going to come back up here, and this time, you know, radius is going to this is going to be true. Radius is defined. So because it's defined, you know, then we're gonna use that value. We're gonna use 49 instead of 48. And finally, we go down to the last one, which is the reset button. And for the reset button, again, we have the radius of 49. And here we're doing a for loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop through every canvas tag in the document. So canvas.length is the number of canvas tags. So a simple for loop right here, and every time we're in a loop we're going to run this function, and this time we're passing in all three parameters, which is the color, the radius, and the index. Okay, so that index is going to get incremented by 1 each time, and then it's going to be using this index. So right here you'll see that this this canvas, the just the element in the canvas array, this is going to get incremented each time. So it's going to set all of the all of the squares in the game back to white.